Hickok 45 here. Speaking of the Old West, this Schofield top break Smith & Wesson, didn't it just have to be the very best Old West revolver? You know how they load, top break and all that. Let's shoot it, see what we think about that. You want to? Oh, it shot me back. Oh man, nice. Oh, I got a 2-liter amp plate. Oh boy, that is a very cool revolver, mainly because look how it unloads and loads. Yeah. So why in the world did anybody carry one of these? One of these antique Colt single action armors. Okay, just don't understand it. So we need to talk about that because they both are great shooters. Let's shoot this one too. You want to? Yeah. All right. I like it. I could handle either one of those. Let's unload it. Let's see how it unloads. Is it a problem? Yeah, if you get the shoulder lined up, it's not, is it? You're nice and sober. Not too bad to unload. Okay. So yeah, just a quick illustration or short discussion on this thing, because a lot of people, I think, wonder about that. This is 1875, the Schofield came out. Actually, the Smith & Wesson top breaks were before that. Just that it was improved with the different kind of latch here in 75, I guess it was, the Schofield. And so these were around, you know, when the Colt single action came about. And a lot of people, I'm sure, have to wonder and do wonder and have wondered. I wonder about everything. Why in the world would somebody want this thing that requires what it does to unload it and reload it? What idiot would want one of these? Okay, just seems like a common sense question. Well, I'm just going to give a couple of observations on that, because many of you, I know you are not going to be able to sleep tonight if you didn't have a little insight into this. And I'm not sure I have any insight. Before I give you some insight, I want to thank Bud's Gun Shop and Range, great supporter of the channel for over 10 long years. Yes, leader in the industry. Silencer Central, same thing. Definitely a leader in the industry, and they do one thing really well. Great people. I want to thank SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. You can get some distance learning in several different topics. You can get on the road to becoming a gunsmith, just firearm technology, learn more about it, and drone, aerial technology, and all that sort of thing. So we appreciate the people that help us. So yeah, they're both nice guns and everything. And we probably talked about some of this before, but just wanted to focus on it. That thing's got to be quicker to load, doesn't it, and unload? Yeah, no doubt about it. And it was General Schofield, Colonel, Captain, I don't know what he was at the time, but he took the Smith & Wesson, number 3, he came up with this latch. I think he had the patent on this latch, so a cavalry man could, with one hand, hold the reins and still break his firearm down and may have to put it against his leg or something and do that. But the earlier ones had the latch on the opposite. It was kind of a two-hand operation. So that was part of the rationale. So it could be used on horseback more easily, not kind of load, unload, whatever. All right, so there you go. Military used quite a few of these. They adopted it and used it, but it just didn't last all that long, really. And there were reasons, legals and royalties and some things like that. Mix-up of ammo was a big thing. It took a shorter 45 cartridge, and it'd get sent, to the fort, would be way out west somewhere, and it'd be sent 45 Colt cartridges, have them here handy, right? And they would be too long for it. Now, in this one's chambering 45 Colt, so it's not an issue. So there were some problems like that. Well, let me load both of them and shoot them. Now, you saw me unload both of them. You saw the difference, and I didn't really practice or think too much about it. in the Colt single action, I can actually do better. You do have to make sure your cylinder's lined up there, and sometimes I can pop them out just very, very quickly. So that's how that works. Sometimes with the Schofield, you get them caught behind the star extractor and you really have a mess getting them all out, and that would happen. Not good on horseback, okay? So I'm gonna load both of them and shoot, all right? It looks like such an obvious difference, an obvious advantage to the Schofield. Well, I'm just gonna kind of do like I would do, take my time. I'll load off my belt like maybe I'm a soldier. Okay, I'm gonna open it up, grab some rounds. I don't think they had speed loaders back then. And I'll put 5 in like I normally do. Okay, these old guns. So we'll get 5. Now line that up so that when I cock the hammer, it's going to put that empty chamber under there. Now it's ready to go. And so let's shoot the thing. I mean, why not? What? All right, so I unload it, do that. I've learned to hold it down so everything comes out. All right. Well, let's say I want to shoot my Colt. Okay, first of all, I've got to half cock it and put one in. I'm going to load 5 again, skip a chamber, put another one in, grab another one, load up that cylinder with these big 45s that I love so much, and it's ready to go. Let's shoot something. Okay, and now let's unload it. See if I can do a little bit better. There we go. Okay, it's unloaded. All right. I hope what I just demonstrated was that there's not a dramatic difference, right? And I'm working off a holster and a belt. And speaking of holsters, really appreciate the support of Alabama Holster. Great supporter of the channel. Got a couple of them on me. Yeah, they're in Alabama. Check them out. Kydex holsters, they're great. So, if that's any use to you at all, they're both good guns. I think both of them were well liked. Generally speaking, the take on the Schofield, the Smith & Wesson, was a little more fragile. I think it was a little more expensive to make. And when you're out on the frontier, you have to replace springs and whatever. I think the Colt was easier to work on, and better ergonomics, most people would say. Okay, not everybody, but I'm one of those that I think the Colt has much better ergonomics, feels much better than this grip. I have read that when you get some, obviously they were shooting black powder back then, and not just for the sake of looking like it's the Old West. It was the Old West. So they would clog up a little faster maybe than the Colt would, okay? Have to dip it in the stream or whatever. And then you had that ammo mix-up issue. That's some of the reasons they weren't more successful, other than the legal reasons and all that. But they seem like, wow, why in the world would everybody not carry that one? That just makes so much more sense. If you go to a cowboy action match, what are you going to see? I've shot them in cowboy action matches, but not much. And if you go to a cowboy action match, you might see a couple of people and there's lots of them available, reproductions, but you're not going to see a lot of them. They're more difficult to shoot fast, and the ergonomics and all that going on, right? So if you have fired both of them, let us know what you think, okay? I like this just because it's unique, it's interesting, it's a nice plinker. But, if I was living in the Wild West in Tombstone, hanging out, playing cards with Doc Holliday, I'd have had a Colt single action. I guess I'm biased. So what do you think? Those of you who do cowboy action shooting, or you own both, you shoot both, what is your impression? Which would you carry? Whether you're a cavalry officer or you're just anybody, a cowboy. Tell us about it. Life is good.
Before you leave, I want to remind you to check out our friends Talon Gun Grips and Ballistol. Talon Gun Grips have been a staple of the channel for years. As you know, they make grip tape that you can attach to the grip of your handgun or the pistol grip on your rifle, and honestly, anything you're trying to not drop and have a better handle on, right? Also Ballistol, of course. Dad's been using Ballistol since the 90s. It's been a staple on the channel as well. It's a cleaner and a lubricant. It's non-toxic. It's a great product. Anything for your guns or anything you're trying to lubricate, it's a great way to go. Thank you guys so much for watching the video.